What's up, y'all? Welcome to another edition of Free Thinkers. I know I was just standing there looking at the camera before the countdown. That's okay. I was like, I know it came straight in, but I'm like, no, I still need my countdown. So I just waited on it. Um, so again, of course, it's supposed to be 8:05 that we start, but I ran behind a little bit. I was actually debating if I wanted to do something or not. I'm trying to think what I want to talk to because my partner in crime, Nikki, probably will not be in today. She got some other stuff going on. And it was like, what do we want to do it? Do we not? And I was like, I think I want to go ahead and do it just because it's been a while. So, and I'm like, and usually also in addition to that, since I don't be on that much, then it's like, this will give me a chance to talk about some of the things that I see on the thread. So it's a good opportunity to do a little personal pick a post. And in addition to that, if you have something that you want to talk about, you could either send a comment or get your butt on here and we can have a conversation. I like talking about random stuff, whatever it is, whatever's been grinding your gears, whatever you've been thinking about, whatever you just got on your mind. Go ahead. we could talk about it. So again, just a reminder. I don't know how long I'm gonna go today. Maybe 30, maybe 45, maybe an hour. Just depends on when I feel I'm done. When we talked about everything that we feel like talking about, then we'll be finished. Keep in mind this is adult conversation, adult content, sometimes adult language. So watch who you watching this around. Make sure you like, follow, share. I have not updated from the last time we spoke last week, but if you are a member of Free Thinkers on the Facebook page, please subscribe to the YouTube page as well, because we don't want to be handicapped by just one platform. YouTube is just a secondary platform, and we're still in the works of getting other things, making sure our material is worldwide, like we call Free Thinkers Worldwide. So like and share. Speaking of, this is usually the time when Nikki is talking. See, I don't know if y'all know this or not. Usually while she's giving the intro, then I'm sharing this stuff to some of my different pages and platforms and stuff like that. So that's what I'm doing as well. So as I'm sharing, then you can also share. I say it like this. You don't have to share, but if you 15 minutes into this conversation, 15 minutes go by, you still listening, go ahead and share, because that means you've watched long enough. This has kept your attention span in some form or fashion enough to the point to where you felt like you can keep watching it. If you can keep watching it, then you can share it with somebody else as well too. Also, feel free to comment in the comment section. I know we get a lot of people contacting us and giving input, asking questions in there. For those who don't like to be on camera, that's perfectly fine too. It ain't perfectly fine, but we'll allow it. we will take any form of participation better than no form at all. Unless you're just a troll, then I ain't got no time for you. But other than that, let me see. There's a few things. Let me go down the list. I had a few videos. What do I want to talk about first? Because there's a few things that I wanted that just grabbed my attention, and I'm like, you know what? Let me see if we talk about this real quick. Some of the things that I saw on the thread. Let me just grab one. Ooh, you know what? Some of this stuff might be old. I got to make sure I delete this stuff out of there as well. Let me see what this one is. Let me see if I can get to this.
Women comment on my post saying, yes, this is exactly why I'm single. Men don't know how to communicate at a high level. And that's just crazy to me. And it's also very disrespectful to God to think that he put something like a man on this earth and didn't give him the capacity to communicate at a high level. Are you serious? No. The problem is we as women aren't honest with ourselves enough to admit that we don't communicate at a high level, because if we did, we would stop dating men that we know are no good for us, that mean us no well, that do not really care about us, that have sex with us and then go do whatever they want, and then we end up heartbroken. That's not us communicating at a high level. We don't select great men, but then we expect them to communicate at a high level. No. You're single because you need to be single, and you need to work on yourself, and you need to figure out what more you can bring to the table other than your beauty in your box, because men are capable of communicating at a high level. 100%. The ones you date just don't like you.
What do y'all think about that? So, it seems like to me, and that's only the second time that I watched that. She kind of merged two things into one. So we're number one, we're talking about communication, and then number two, she kind of merged that over into why you ain't got no man. Um, and I know how they connect, but I don't know if that directly connected to her point. But let me say this. So we're talking about high level, low level. I'm trying to keep my ears fresh because a part of me gets tired of hearing that conversation. Um, but let me give you something more constructive. Instead of high level, low level, well, let's break this down first. Um, when we talk about men don't know how to communicate versus women, I would argue that generally, in one aspect, I'm gonna go a couple different angles with this, but in one aspect, women typically, in general, are slightly better communicators than men, primarily because women have more practice. If you think about, you have more resources, you have friends who are more open and willing to talk to you and communicate with you, even if it's poor communication in some instances. But you have a circle of people who practice communication. Men typically don't have that same practice from the time that they are smaller. Um, we were not encouraged to talk about our feelings or to explain our day or explain a situation and give the ins and outs of how we feel and how the other person felt in our perspective. We just we typically don't get the practice because we're not put in those environments that allow that. Um, so for instance, if it's just a male woman thing, so are gay men poor communicators too? I don't know, but some would say that they're better. They got to be better than men because a lot of gay men, their best friends are a lot of women, and they will chop it up and talk all day, right? So it's not purely a gender thing. I think it's more of an exposure thing. Now, because when you look on a wider scope of it, men who practice communicating are very good communicators. Think about pastors, teachers, motivational speakers, salesmen. We don't say salesmen are poor communicators or poor. No, it's just what you practice. And I think outside of occupation, women just have more exposure and practice in communicating. Somebody tell me if you think I'm wrong. But oh, okay, true. All right. Um, so okay, so that was one thing. That was one thing the first observation. Now the second part is I prefer people get away from the high level, low level type of conversation. It's not always about men or women communicating at a high level or low level. Oftentimes we communicate on different frequencies. So just because a person has a hard time communicating with you or you them vice versa, it's not always because they're poor communicators. It's just because you haven't looked at how to communicate at their frequency. And I don't mean frequency is how frequent they communicate, but like a radio frequency. You got to be tuned in to the way another person communicates. Um, so, for instance, uh, I tell people I'm one of the most quiet people that you'll ever meet. Um, and I'm not big on talking, but if you get me talking about the right thing, I have a conversation with you all day. If you're talking about pop culture and the newest rapper and some movie and this, I may not have anything to say. And I'll sit in the corner and be quiet. If it's not interesting to me or if it doesn't pique my frequency or grab my attention in that type of way, I have no interest in it. Now you talk about, hey, you just pull out some cards. Let's talk about some philosophical questions. Let's talk. Oh man, I have a conversation with you all day, because it's you tapping into my frequency. Well, if you're talking about history, you tapping into my frequency. I love history. I love documentaries. I'll talk about those all day. If you're talking about a lot of conspiracy theory, politics, I don't have a I don't have a much of a frequency for that. I'll let those conversations just those waves just go right past me, and I'm like, oh, well, somebody else can tackle that one. It's not that it's not that I have no knowledge or anything to say about it. It's just it's not an interesting thing for me. So anyway, I said all of that uh, to say what we call men who communicate on a low level. That's not always the case. Sometimes you have to practice matching a person's frequency. You have to find out where and how to meet them on a level of communication. Sometimes just asking a person 15, 20 questions in a row, that's not going to pique their frequency. And that's what I tell people. I've had this conversation several times over the last few weeks about dating. When you asking a person, there's certain questions that I feel like you should not ask on a first date. And it's not just because it's tacky, which sometimes it is, depending on what you ask, or sometimes it's intrusive in ways that is not warranted. But sometimes you I say that because by asking those questions, you're not going to get the most out of a person. So for instance, me being a salesman, if the first thing come out my mouth is, hey, I got this product, you want to buy it or not? That might be what I'm thinking. That's really what I want to know, but that's not the best route or the best frequency on how to obtain that information. I need to have a conversation. I need to find out a little bit about your wants, your needs, your desires, your price range, your openness to change or flexibility. All it's a lot of different things that I have to evaluate before I decide if this person is going to buy from me or not. And sometimes even if the person was going to engage with you, the way you approach a person will make them stand off. Be like, yeah, not really my cup of tea. There's times where people may want the product that you're offering, but they don't like the package that is coming in. You can actually turn a person off by your communication style. So when you just I ask them questions, I want to I want to I just can't get them to talk. No matter how many questions I ask, I just can't get them to talk. Well, let me when you come out, and first of all, when you don't often share, and I mean just sharing your life experiences, sharing your day-to-day endeavors. If you guys are not communicating on a day-to-day basis and you just bust out with these questions all of a sudden, a person is going to try to figure out what's their angle, what are they trying to get at, more than, oh, they just want to get to know me a little bit better. So there's ways that you have to do. You have to get what I call buy-in from a person before they'll be willing to ask you these in-depth questions that you're looking for. Like, did you get buy-in from them? Are you sharing with them? And let me tell you one other thing. Ladies, for men, one of the good things that you can do, what stop asking these open-ended questions when the man has no clarity on where you're trying to go with it. You actually create tension in a conversation when you just ask these, oh, so what you doing tomorrow? Nothing. I don't think I'm doing nothing. Oh, okay. So you don't have any plans? It's like, no, not that I know of. See, now in my mind, I'm like, okay, where are you getting? Where are you going with this? Are you like versus? So where are you going tomorrow? Oh, I didn't have any plan. Well, the reason I asked you that is because I was thinking about going down to Town Lake and seeing if you wanted to. If you tell me right up front what's going on or what the reason is, then I can put my guards down a little bit more because I don't have to guess what you're trying to get at. Are you trying to catch me up in and saying something? Or are you trying, like, I'm just not sure when you ask certain questions and you don't give context to those questions. So give context to questions sometimes, and that will help with that will help you both get on the same frequency of communication. Did I get all that out? Oh yeah, people will buy anything. People buy from, that is true. And especially, let me tell you this, because nowadays you got Amazon, you got so many different outlets of the way that you can purchase things. I know there's some people you can present something to them and they will buy it, but they just won't buy it from you. And they'll be like, oh well, okay, well, thanks. Just leave me your number and I'll get back with you. And then they'll go online, they'll go to another source. It was something about you either they didn't like or they didn't feel at ease with you, or you weren't trustworthy, to the point that they said, I'm going to go through a more reliable source before I buy this product. And again, that goes back to communication. There's a lot of people who will communicate, but they just won't communicate with you because for some reason you are not a trustworthy source, or you're not a trustworthy landing spot for them to send information to. And maybe you are trustworthy, but it's, again, have you put in the work with the person? Have you taken time to share? Do you truly share your thoughts and emotions and feelings and past experiences, or do you just ask questions? Because then that becomes, somebody like me, that's going to become a little lopsided. And if I feel you're asking, and as open as I am, I'm pretty open. As open as I am, if I feel that I'm the one who's sharing and nobody else is, like, you're not sharing your information with me, then I'll pause a little bit on that. I'm like, yeah, you sure is asking for a lot not to be giving up anything. So just a thought. Now, let me see. Do I have any? So then she kind of, going back to the video. Then she started going more into that's why you ain't got no man. You just need to work on yourself first. Best practices says, so y'all won't lie and change it up if you don't want to do it and say that you're busy. But again, and I know what you mean, best practices. Like, y'all be trying to, once you find out what it is I'm trying to get at, then your answers change based off of that. Um, yes, but so what? Is that do you want someone going somewhere either against their will or in ways that they don't wanna operate? Like, I let me say it like this, the way that a person goes about doing that can also lend to that type of behavior. If you guys both worked on open, clear communication, maybe the other person would be more willing and have more want to go places or to share or to exchange with you. People, listen, men and women, but let me speak for men. It's so much is about comfortability. A man needs to feel comfortable in his space, especially if you're in a relationship. They need to feel comfortable, whether they're at home, whether you're out. And when I say comfortable, you need to feel like a relaxed environment. Men don't like tense situations. We just don't. And anything, and the worst, I mean, the worst thing is for your significant other, the one who's supposed to be your partner, your number one, to feel tension around that person is the worst thing relationally that you can have. Just it's just tense. Do you hear people talking about if a man or a woman has to hesitate before they go home, or they look to find anything else they can do other than go home before they got to an end, it's like, all right, let me go on home. Let me go on home. Like nobody wants to. I was in one of my previous workplaces, had a really bad boss, and it was just I literally because I was on salary, so I didn't have to come in every day. Um, a lot of times I would just, either work directly from home or work in the field, but they wanted you to come to the office, periodically. But any day that I knew that my boss was going to be in the office, because she was over several different, she had she was in the office in Austin and Colleen and Waco and different places like that. So it wasn't always she'd be in different offices on different days. But when I knew she was coming into our office, I would stay. I would purposefully I would show my face. So I would show up for about a half an hour, do a little reporting, and I'm like, all right, head out to the field. I'm getting out of here. Because it was such a tense environment, and you could just walk into the office and immediately feel the tension. Even without you could just tell when they were there just by the tension around the office. And nobody wants to be in that environment. I mean, think about it. If you've ever had a job where the workplace environment had such tension in it, it's one of the worst feelings in the world to have to go there every day, and you have to mentally prepare yourself to be strong enough just to make it through the day. Nobody wants that. Um anyway, I think hopefully I'm off of all of this. I think I'm off of that. And as far as her, I don't think I'm gonna touch on that. She was talking about you need to work on yourself. Yes, you need to work on yourself. I think that's it's a gray area because I mean, if you got to get yourself all the way together before you could be in a relationship, who's going to be in a relationship? I mean, just I would say at least have basic goals and a basic knowledge of self as far as who you want to be as an individual and where you want your life to go as an individual. If you know those things, then you can grow in that together. Have some basic, you know, you need to feel decent about yourself to some degree. Yeah, everybody don't have the best self-esteem. Everybody don't know exactly what they want in life, but you need to have some of those basics down before you try to incorporate someone else into a relationship with you. But all of this, that's why you can't find nobody and you got to get yourself right a little bit. Have some direction. I just say it like that. Because on the flip side, I also see people who keep that mindset through their 20s and their 30s, and then they get into their 40s And they like, no, I just, I'm still trying to get myself. I hear a lot of men say that too. I'm just trying to get myself together. Women say that I need to like listen. Okay, how long is it gonna take you to get yourself together? And by the time you get yourself together, is it's there's an investment time when it comes to relationships as well. I would be very leery late in life to get into relationships because there's no invested time into those relationships. You guys have not gone through any real life together. So I think in a lot of those instances, people already got their mind made up as far as who they are. We're not as flexible the older we get. And if we don't have strong history and have gone through enough together, it's easy to say, hey, you know what, this just ain't working. Think I'm a bounce. And it's unfortunate. I see that happen a lot of ways versus sometimes, when you've been together in your 20s and 30s and you've put in time together, you've made an investment and you're not going to be so easily to throw away something that you strongly invested in. So on the flip side, all this, figure it out. That's all I can say. Hey, you need to figure it out. Life lessons, figure it out. Can't know everything. Just need to know the basics. That's what people tell you in business. It's a thing called analysis. What is it? Paralysis by analysis. And anytime people have a business venture, some things that they want to do, oftentimes it never happens because they paralyze themselves by trying to analyze everything and saying, I need to have everything figured out before I could take a step out. No, people in business will tell you, get a basic skeleton, get a format, have the general idea of where you want to go, how you want to operate, what your target base is, so forth, and start moving. As you start moving, you will start to learn and grow and figure out what we need to tweak, what we need to make adjustments to, so forth. Relationships, same way. Figure out, do I enjoy this person's company? Are they generally good at their heart, core, and soul? Do we generally have the same values and the same goals and the same projections in life that we want to have? If so, we can start moving forward. As we move forward, then things will make itself clearer. I will have a better understanding if I want to take this all the way, meaning get married or move in or whatever you want to do. But just waiting, you're going to lose a lot of good opportunities that way. Let me see what else I got. Best practice. I'm horrible at being precise. I got details for days. Men like direct and precise bottom lines. I'm blunt but detail oriented. That ain't bad. That ain't bad. Being detailed is fine. Forcing your detailed mindset on another person becomes problematic. I'm like, oh, I'm perfectly fine at you being detailed and specific, but don't force me to be that way if I'm not. Let's see what else. Let me see. What other? Let me see if I got like a. Oh, so one of the things I saw on here was alleged NFL players Xavier Howard has 4 women pregnant at the same time. Whew. So, what y'all think about that? 4 of them. You know what? So this is a very unpopular belief that I have that I know a lot of people don't. In a lot of these instances, I really do feel sorry for these professional athletes and entertainers, especially the professional athletes, even more so than entertainers, because I know all of them, they have a large spotlight and they make a lot of money. But the difference is, I'll say this, the difference is, let me see, do I got any? I don't know if I got no background music. Hold on a second. Nope, I gotta put my own music in there. So the difference is that entertainers typically there's a escalation process. You start doing the music, you're grinding, you're doing local shows, you're figuring stuff out, you're working on your craft, you're doing slightly bigger shows. You're looking to get signed or looking to get endorsements or something like that. There's a process that comes with that. So during that learning curve or that process or that grinding period, it happens typically incrementally. You go from doing it from the love and the passion, you start making a little bit of money, then you start making maybe a decent amount of money, you get a deal, and you're already starting to acclimate to the notoriety, the fame, and the money and the things. So you had a chance to kind of grow into what you were going to become. When it comes to athletes, NFL, NBA, especially I mean, they just started the NIL where you can actually get paid in college. But most of the time you worked and worked and worked. I mean, you still been working on your craft since you were, 5, 6, 7 years old, but you had nothing to show for it. You didn't have any money, especially football. You don't uh have a lot of fame. You wear helmets. So people, when you walking around in the street, yeah, you might have a football body, but outside of that, they don't really know who you are. And you're still young, you're in your early 20s, barely out of college. Um, but what happens is you go from a broke, struggling college student to an instant millionaire. And it's like, man, it's such a quick change. It's such a drastic quick change where you just become you now all of a sudden you just got everything that you want to overnight. And how do you deal with that? Like honestly, ask yourself. How, and see, I could say one thing now. Um, in my 40s, now I can tell you what I would do if I became a instant millionaire and celebrity overnight. I can tell you in my mind, I probably think I could handle it, and maybe I could handle certain things to some degree. I could probably handle money a little bit better than fame at this age. But listen, ask me if I could have handled that in my early 20s. Let me tell you something. When I first came right out of high school, I moved down to Texas. I'm from Illinois, moved to Texas right after I got out of high school. Within a couple of weeks, I started working at Taco Bell, and after about a month at Taco Bell, I got another job at Motorola. Motorola at the time, it was good paying. That's an adult paying job. Where real adults pay. I'm still 19, a kid coming out there, and I'm making adult type money, and I ain't got adult type responsibilities or kids. On that small level, no fame, no notoriety, not even rich, but I just had enough money to do what I wanted to do. Oh my God, you couldn't tell me nothing. I was so, oh man, I thought I was it. Just I dress every, and that's what my best friend, my best friend remind me. I forgot about this. I was, I felt like I was so fly. I would not wear the same. I didn't wash socks. I would only buy the socks anew. Once I wore them, I would throw them in a bag somewhere, and I would only wear new socks. Period. I wouldn't wear any socks that wasn't brand new. That's what I was doing in my 20s, and I ain't even had no fame or no money. Let me have really got some fame or some money. Oh man, it would I have had 4 women pregnant at the same time? N- I wouldn't have. I still wouldn't have. And it ain't even because of that reason. That's just because AIDS was a lot more scary back then. we, we was coming out that era, and I'm like, nah, I'm scared of everybody. So, but man, I'll be honest, when you really put yourself in those positions and really just think about all the dynamics of it, it's unfortunate, and I do feel bad for them. And that's the tough part, because nobody's gonna feel bad for you. You're making all of this money, you have all this attention, you're getting all of this praise from the opposite sex. Most of these people, man, they're able to put it down. You got a nice body, and you're able to just showcase everything that you're doing. And not many people tell you no. Most people are jealous of that, because the average, especially the average man, or or woman, but especially the average man, we don't understand that lifestyle. We wish we could, but we don't. I still feel a little bad for them. I just say it like that. And I feel bad for people, and it's a tough thing to be that young, have that much notoriety, and just have all this money at one time when you haven't been trained or escalated in how to deal with that. Yeah. Who is this? A clown. Let's say Facebook user says, you can fly women out to where you're at, and you feel that you can do whatever you want. I don't know what that's. Oh, well, look, we don't know if. I'm like, I don't know if he actually was flying them out, but I'm sure he probably was. It's that you get that king mindset. Like, I can. It's tough when you get to a place to where you're not told no often. When you're not told no, then how do you? I think it's just a dangerous thing. It's a real. How would you respond? Somebody tell me in the comments, how would you respond if you really could just have whatever you wanted to whenever you wanted? Would you still have the same level of humility, restraint, temperance, or would you go buck wild? And even if you don't think you would go buck wild, what would stop you from going buck wild? Really? I don't know. Let me see. I'm gonna see if I got another. Maybe let me see if I run across another video. I know I'll put some other videos on here. So the old Xavier Howard, and it's gonna come back, boy. I tell you what. And you know what? The average NFL player, their career only lasts 3 to 4 years. The average. And then what happened is you're gonna be paying $10,000 to $20,000 a month for each kid. They're gonna take everything he got. He gonna leave. He better start investing. He better start doing some other stuff, because he's gonna leave out the NFL broke, and they gonna have no money to show for it. Let me see. I did that one. I can't even see. It's so small. I can't even see what it is. Let me.
Then think of a celebrity that matches the rating that you give yourself.
I would rate myself an 8. I would say Big Lotto. I love Lotto.
I think I say like a 7.5, 8 around there.
Name a celebrity that would match you.
Lauren London, I say.
Lauren London.
I'm going to say I'm an 8. And the celebrity that would match me is Tiana Taylor. There we go.
Okay, Tiana Taylor.
Yeah.
So you're 8 and Tiana Taylor is an 8.
Just looks?
Yeah.
I'm going to say a 10. Rihanna, boy, what?
Okay.
I think Rihanna, I like Rihanna. She a 10 to me.
Okay, show of hands. Do you have in your DMs that you never replied to that looks halfway decent, but you're not giving no time or attention?
4 hands better be up.
All 4 hands.
All.
Okay. Here's the truth. None of you ladies are a 10 or an 8 or anything close to that. The reality is a 5 is average. Because all you ladies are single. You do have good guys in your DM, but you choose not to reply to these guys because y'all all think y'all 8 and 10s.
Boo, boo, boo. I might replay that a second time, because I'm trying to process that. first of all, let me give a couple observations on this. I'm looking at some of these comments right here. Oh, let me go. Say fear will stop me. Going back to our last conversation. For how long does fear is temporary usually. You may be hesitant, but after a while then, and especially once you get immersed in that type of environment and everybody around you, you see clearly this is the lifestyle that people are living and seemingly enjoying. I don't know how long that fear is going to last before you be like, oh, this is normal. Ain't no problem with me now. What to say? As a young adult, probably go a little while, but as an older adult, hell no, that's irresponsible. Right. See, and again, a young adult, if you don't have, I don't know. You know what? And then I had to look at the background. Where's his father at? How many kids that his father got? Some of that stuff is examples of what you've seen. Either is it normalizes the rest of what you see. So obviously he had to grow up in an environment where having multiple kids with multiple women is just normal. Otherwise, he would have stopped at 2. Like 2 would have been a mistake. Like, oh, damn, I got her pregnant. And oh, shoot, that's it. Everything shut down. We stop. we stopping. I made a terrible mistake. But if you go to 3 or 4, then that's, yeah, you out there, you wild and hard. And not only that, you also, there's a part of you that doesn't feel that you really doing anything wrong. Or it's just you're blinded by the consequences don't mean anything to you, what that means. They said I grew up when you did. Yeah, that's true, man. I tell you. Oh man. Okay, so now going to what we're talking. Okay, best practices. This is going back to the video that we're in. I said nobody can compare. I hate this comparison. You are the only person that has been there for every experience you've had. What makes you compare to no one? Okay, so let me get back to what I am. Okay, so let me say my first observation when they telling you to rate yourself. Y'all listen, man. Let Kevin Samuels do he did his thing. That was his thing. Y'all ain't got to try to jump onto the coattails of that. He did that. Y'all come up with something. Maybe A through F. Maybe rate yourself B+, C-, whatever. Rate yourself differently. Don't use the same things everybody else uses. I don't care really. I'm just saying something. But so when he said rate yourself, a number rating 1 through 10, and then tell me the celebrity that you would also rate in that same numeric category. Let me give you a quick side note. Celebrities don't look like celebrities. Celebrities don't look like themselves. The pictures that you see of these celebrities, they themselves do not actually look like that. You're talking about all the high-tech cameras and the filters and the makeup and the lighting, all of this. And they take 200 pictures to get that 1 or 2 perfect looking shots. Celebrities don't actually look like celebrities. So when you talk about Lotto and you talk about Tiana Taylor and you talk about all these people, I ain't had no issue with them. Matter of fact, I'm a huge fan of Tiana Taylor. If you see these people without the makeup and all Hollywood made up, they look like regular people. And let me say it, Lauren London, she a cutie. Let me say that. But the women that were sitting on there, if they spent 3 or 4 hours to make up the lighting and get their body turns, comparable. Just tell the truth. So all of that stuff to where, they try to say, and he tried to shame them. Hey, don't none of y'all look up to that level, and all y'all like, I disagree with that. You can't compare. That's just like there's people at the gym that I go to. very fit, in shape, look great. If I took them to a competition right now, a bodybuilding competition, all of them would lose, even the ones who bodybuild, because do you know they dehydrate themselves to make all of their cuts and curves look, they dehydrate themselves down to nothing. Then they actually have a professional shader who shades their body and paints it a certain color so that their muscles will pop differently. Like they go through a whole process of getting their body to visually look a certain type of way that you can only do it through that process. Someone who does the same routine and has the same body, if they hadn't gone through that same process, they don't get anywhere. So that's all I'm saying is you're trying to compare two things that's not even comparable. Now, let me say the other thing while he's trying to shade people. He's talking about so talking about 5 is average. 5 is not average. Anybody who uses the 1 through 10 scale, 5 is not average. Okay, nobody looks at 5 as average. 5 out of 10 is 50%. Any school you go to, that's a failing grade. So if you say either your face or your personality is 5 is failing. And nobody, I don't think nobody should ever rate themselves as a 5 or below. You know what's on a scale of 1 to 10, what's average? 7. 7 is average. 10, we don't even go down to that. If you watch the dunk contest, if somebody did a dunk and they got a 5, is that an average dunk? No, it's a terrible dunk. Nothing on a scale of 1 to 10, a 5 is average. You're talking about 5. You should have rated yourself as a 5. Shut up. Stupid. People be saying some dumb stuff. Some of the stuff they do directly for the sake of we're gonna make a sound bite out of this. So he said they misrated themselves. They didn't look like the celebrities. They should have rated themselves as a 5 instead of whatever else. And that's are we only rating ourselves superficially, like from the physical exterior? Because some people be like, I got a bomb personality too. I got great communication skills. I know how to meet needs. I know how to be a team player. I know how to be an asset to a relationship. And in a person's mind, yeah, I'm high quality. But so I don't. It's all these. It'd be the same. It's not the same shows, but every time I see them, it's all similar, and it look like the setup is always the same. And it's a couple dudes, and then they got these girls over here, and then I don't know. They try to play them like flunkies. I don't like that. Anytime you're having a conversation with someone and you either put people who like have weaker personalities or they're not skilled in the art of conversation or debate. Some people are very smart, very intelligent. They're just not good natural communicators, and they're not used to communicating on podcasts or debate shows or whatever like that. And people will bring a cute face with a weak mouth, no pun intended. I'm talking about your communication skills. Got a weak mouth, and then you just easily run over them. I don't really respect people like that. I don't respect shows that do that. Pull someone up. They got the same verbal skill set as you, and then let's have a real conversation. So then they went on. I'm still talking about this video. So then they went on to talk about, well, how many y'all got men in your DMs right now that you ain't even responded to? And they all raised their hand. So then it was like a point of us, we're gonna try to shame them because, and then they turn around and say, see, there's plenty of good guys in your DMs, but you don't want them because you're too busy thinking that you're this and you're not that. is there, let me say, is there some truth to that? Possibly. There could possibly be some truth. But you're not obligated to speak to or respond to everyone that gets in. Listen, a man ain't got no business. In real talk, a man ain't got no business commenting about what a woman should or shouldn't do with her DMs. The way DMs work for a man versus a woman is two totally different worlds. Let me say it like this. If a man had the same type of DM responses that a woman does, you'd probably have 4 women pregnant right now at the same. Because men, we respond differently to it. So if it was women beating down, if it was women beating down our DM door, just, you know, what's up? Let me get at you. Let me holler at you. Let me take you out. What's your sign? What you like to eat? What you like to do? I'm trying to wipe you up. You want to go to Dubai? You want to go here? I can fly you out. Your man ain't no good. Like, all the stuff that men do to women trying to get up in their DMs. If women actually, if we had that much activity in our DMs, we wouldn't know how to handle it. So it's two totally different worlds out there. So I don't even think we should pretend like that. And listen, I have an issue with people who think another person shouldn't have a personal preference. If a person has personal preference, there's nothing wrong with that. If you want a dark skinned man, ain't nothing wrong with that. If you want somebody tall, ain't nothing wrong with that. If you want somebody got a large beard, if you want a heavy set man, whatever your preference is, everybody got a type. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, the only problem is, this is my problem. My only problem is, if you got a type and you're waiting on that type, do not complain in the process. You realize every criteria notch that you have, and they got to do this, they got to do this, to every check, your pool shrinks a little bit more. So if he got to be, and he got to be tall, and he got to work downtown, like every single and that you put on that, it's just a smaller pool of person that you're fishing for. And this is what I say often. Even once you find that person, what's the guarantee or likelihood that they're going to be attracted to you equally as you are to them? That's it. So as long as you know what you like, be comfortable waiting on that, or you need to modify your expectations. But don't sit and complain. That's where I will agree with the men. Don't sit and complain about ain't no good people, ain't no good men, ain't no good women out there when you've constricted yourself down to a certain type. It got to be this way. It got to be that, and you're not open to anything else. Okay, well, you just keep waiting on that. See how it turns out. If it doesn't, then maybe you should modify. You ever get on a dating app and you put your little search in there? This is probably like POF days. I'm trying to think of something that had a strong filter on it. POF days. And you put the filter in, you wasn't really finding what you want. What you do? Modify your search. Okay, maybe they ain't got to be within the next 5 miles. Let's stretch it out. Maybe let's go 25 miles. I drive a little further. Maybe they ain't got to have an athletic build. Maybe they go a little extra. Is that what they used to say on POF? Maybe they got a little bit. Let me click this too. Let me modify. Do they got to be black? Well, you know what? Let me readjust this. Accept Hispanics well. Asian, Island, Pacific. You modified your search because I need to cast my net out a little bit wider. That's funny. What is Facebook use? I have a friend that has 13 kids with 4 women. Yeah, no, I know people personally. I know a guy from my hometown, year or two older than me, and has about 18 kids. And I know another guy has close to 30 kids. Not personal friends of mine, but people that I knew. That's I don't know. At what point do you get to? I'm wondering if they ever got to a point like at this point it don't even matter. You know, by the time I don't know, maybe by the time you had like 7, 8 kids, and you like, 8, 18. I don't even know if it's a difference. Now it's definitely a difference. I'm just in their mind, maybe they felt like that. Let's see. Best practices. Did you see that video where that woman retrieved a condom from the trash? I forgot the celebrity, but she had a turkey baster in the hotel bathroom and showed him sleeping in the bed. I don't know, but that happens often. They be out here trying to win, because that ain't even just about status. People figured like me having a baby by you, I've just allowed myself to live comfortably probably for the rest of my life. And it's opened up. See, the crazy thing now, and I'm gonna stop at an hour. I got a whole lot of stuff I ain't even get to. I can't believe I loaded all that stuff up and I didn't get to it. That's all right. But even now, in today's society, you can be famous for doing nothing or for being somebody's baby mama. You can be on a whole TV reality show being the something wives, basketball wives, or something wives, and most of them ain't even wives, but it don't matter. You baby mama, you're gonna travel in those circles. You're gonna live comfortably. You're probably not gonna have to work a regular job anymore. You may be able to write a book. You may be able to get on TV, do other opportunities will show up for you just by association. So, yep, that apps. Boxing Jordan. I don't know what that's referring to. And then I don't see none of these names. Who are you saying, a 7 or a 9 or 7.9? I don't know. I don't know. 7 point. I don't know if you're saying 7 or 9 or 7.9. But Stokely said he's 7.9. Okay, here's this best practice. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. My merchandise is good. I don't want number, that is, but I believe the report of the Lord. Oh, said I don't know what number that is. Well, if you say it like that, it sounds like a 10, best practice. When you bring God into it, it sounds like a 10 when you say it like that. Laz Alonso. I don't know who Laz Alonso is. I don't think so. Let's see. I didn't fool with men that their boys hang lower than their vessel. Hold on. I don't fool with men that their boys hang lower than their vessel. I'm done getting prego. Oh, okay. See, I'm slow. I read slow and I comprehend a little bit slower. Okay. Well, I mean, it's probably a good practice. But anyway, there's much more I could talk about, but I've reached an hour, so I'm gonna go do something else with my life. But thank everyone for tuning in to Free Thinkers. Thank you for participating with us. I always enjoy having these conversations. I think maybe next week, y'all let me know what y'all want to talk about. I'm always open to talk about anything and everything. But I do like doing like ethical questions, situational ethics, philosophical questions. And then if there's anything specifically from the thread or from Free Thinkers page that you want us to touch on, then we're open to do that as well. Well, yeah, good conversation, people. Make sure that you keep posting on the page. Just keep participating. We thank everybody for their participation. It's a cool thing, and we enjoy it. And what is this? Because we in the middle of September now. I said in October we're going to do a live Free Thinkers back at a physical location. So we're gonna find out where to do that in Austin. And just keep your eyes open because we're gonna put some fillers out there as far as what day we're gonna have, when we're gonna do it, and that's gonna be fun. I'm actually gonna look forward to that because it's been pre-COVID since the last time we met physically. So gonna be cool. All right, y'all. Until next time.